it's Beauty Junkie. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be showing you my top makeup picks for 2020. Some of these products are new to 2020, some of them are not, but these are my favorite makeup products of the year. We have a lot to get through, so I don't want to get into too much detail about each one, but I do want to share why I like the product and why it's so great and why it's my favorite. So we have a lot of categories. I don't necessarily have something from every category of makeup. If I didn't think there was anything in my collection that was that noteworthy, I'm not going to talk about it. For example, I don't have like a great mascara that was like absolutely my favorite in my collection. So I don't have anything to share in that category. But then some other categories, I have multiple subcategories because I have so many favorites. Alright, so let's get into it, starting with complexion. My goodness, I don't have a favorite primer right now, so we're skipping primer. And let's get right into liquid foundation. This is a new purchase for me, and I've purchased other foundations this year, but the Surratt Dewdrop foundation, I have it in shade number 3. It has been my favorite so far. I'm just already going to claim it as my best of beauty 2020. I'm actually wearing it right now, and you know, I'm a little bit glowy, but I don't mind it. I think this is a perfect foundation for winter if you experience less oiliness in the winter like I do. I think it's a good time to be dewy. And this foundation's really good, and I love the packaging. I love the applicator. It's like a pen that you push and the product comes out, and it's just excellent. I've applied it with my hands and it looks good, which like never happens to me. It's just a really incredible product. I use a sponge usually to apply it, but I've used my hands and I was happy with the result. And I think it wears down pretty naturally. It's not like a heavy, but it's not super light. I thought it was going to be really light, but I got some like medium coverage from it. So I've been super impressed with this foundation. My favorite tinted moisturizer this year is from Chantecaille, the Just Skin Tinted Moisturizer. I use Alabaster. This is like a great everyday foundation. It's really light, really easy to apply. I use my fingers. It's just super creamy and super smooth and has a decent amount of coverage for a tinted moisturizer. The downside is the cost. I wish it was less money. I also wish it had a little more SPF. It only has SPF 15, so you don't want to like rely on this for your SPF, but think of it as a plus to your makeup. Definitely think of this more as a makeup product than an SPF, but it's really good. It's really smooth. If you haven't tried this, check it out. Concealer. I didn't buy a ton of concealers, but I bought some this year. And I'm not sure this is new to 2020, but I think it's relatively new. This is the Luminous Silk Concealer from Giorgio Armani, and it's not the most full coverage, but I like how flexible it is. I easily get little creases under my eyes, I have little fine lines, I smile, and I find that this just works with my skin. It's not super drying, and it's really easy to apply, blends out wonderfully. I can apply it in like seconds, whereas like a more thicker full coverage concealer, it takes forever to blend out. It doesn't really go with my lighter foundations that I use. I find that this goes well with like a light to medium coverage foundation versus using a thick concealer and a light foundation. It always looks a little bit funny on me, so I like the consistency of the Luminous Silk Concealer. In terms of like glowy products, this can be a highlighter, but you can also mix this in with a foundation, and it's a beautiful golden beige tone. This is the Charlotte Tilbury Flawless Filter in number 1. You can't really see the label anymore. But this is a wonderful product, and you get a ton of product in here. It's a good value for the money. It's a giant doe foot, really easy to apply. Just a beautiful glow from this product. I've always wanted to get it for many years, and since I've started this channel, I've been encouraged to buy the things that I've always wanted and never tried. And this is one of those products I've always wanted to get, and it's definitely lived up to the hype. Alright, let's get into other complexion stuff. So liquid blush, yes, its own category, because I bought like a lot of liquid blushes this year, like a lot. And out of all of them, this is my favorite. This is the Chantecaille Gel Cream Cheek Gelee Blush in Happy. And the texture of this and the application is just a breeze. It is so easy. It's concentrated but easy to like blend out. It's not gonna stain your cheeks. It's not like, oh, I put too much, it's ruined. Like, it's really user-friendly. On camera this looks really orange, but it's like a light coral pink. Another great product that's a recent purchase for me is the Radiance Gel Bronzer. This is my favorite cream gel bronzer. So if we put bronzer in the more liquid category, this is my favorite. It's kind of a funny tone and there isn't really any choice of colors in this product, but I found that I could blend this out and use a tiny amount and it just works so easy, and I really think it's easy to use. That's all I can say. It's got a good tone. It's not too warm, not too cool. I enjoy it. Alright, let's get into powders. I've always wanted to try like the By Terry powder for like setting my face, and I have a sample of the pressed powder and the loose powder, like the regular universal like white one, the hyaluronic powder, and I like both. I think they're really lightweight and really refined. They're really nice, and I'm glad I finally got to try them in both versions. For finishing powder, my top powder is going to be the Chantecaille Perfect Blur, the Hummingbird powder. Just a wonderful blurring product. You don't necessarily have to use it at the end of your makeup, but a lot of people do. Blurs out your pores. It's not like a setting powder really, but you could use it that way. And the formula of this is just so smooth, so refined. You just can't beat it. Bronzer, powder bronzer. Chantecaille Real Bronze and Goa. This is, I think, my first Chantecaille product, and I know this looks really dark, but I just use a little bit and it works really well in my complexion, and it's a baked gelée and it's just applies so easily. It's really good. Powder blush. I got a couple new powder blushes this year, but I think this Stuart, I never remember this, Baby Lilac, I think this is the Bloom Bouquet or something like that, Bouquet. This is Baby Lilac. It's very pink. It's bold, but you can customize it, swirl your brush around different areas. There's a lot of different options of this blush, a lot of different colors, a lot of different bouquets. It's just really pretty compact as well. It's super pigmented. You're gonna get a lot of color payoff from this blush. It blends easily. You just gotta go a little bit at a time. Don't want to overdo it, but it's really nice. Highlighter. I got a lot of highlighters this year, but this one really stood out to me, the Guerlain Meteorites Pearl Dust Palette, because all of these mixed really nicely together. Even if you just put two or one at a time, like, they just work really well. And it smells like meteorites, which is like very violet. It's just a really beautiful finish and good choice of colors. That's it for my face powders. Let's go into brows. So, have a couple options here. One's a brow gel and one's a brow pencil. So my favorite brow gel, new product for me this year, the Tom Ford Fiber Brow Gel, and I use Taupe. And what I like about this is how fast I can fill in my brows and they stay in one place. They don't move, and a little goes a long way. You don't need a lot of product. The downside is the cost. It's really expensive, but it lasts a long time. My favorite pencil is a new purchase for me from Chantecaille. This is the waterproof brow definer in Ash Blonde, which I'm surprised this color works for me. But it's one of those like pointy triangle shapes, and it just fills in my brows so fast. And even though this color doesn't necessarily look like it works, it definitely does. And it's just another way, like if you use, you know, something more defined with a brow gel, the combination could work really well. Let's do like a creamy eyeliner, eyeshadow pencil, whatever you want to call it. Eyeshadow pencil. This is the By Terry Ombre Blackstar. Again, another product I've always wanted to try. Heard lots of good things about, and the hype is real with this product. It is so smooth. The colors are super pretty. It's like a really easy, travel-friendly, on-the-go, quick shimmer eye look. There's lots of different colors. Love the packaging. Love the Ombre Blackstar. This is Rose Elixir, by the way. Super easy to use. Eyeliners. I have 3 eyeliners to share with you. My black liquid liner. I got a few this year. The Surratt one is what I have, and it's refillable and it's really good. It's just a black liquid liner. Hopefully I'm opening this right. Nope, I'm not. There we go. It's like a, you know, fine felt tip pen. And it works pretty well. It's not like as solid as it could be. It's a little bit kind of see-through, but I like how fine it is. For pencil eyeliners, talking about regular brown and black, I like the Wayne Goss Precious Opal. This is like a deep brown with the slightest bit of shimmer in it. Just a great basic brown. And then for fun color pencils, I like the Chantecaille Luster Glide Silk Infused Eyeliner in Black Forest. I think this is a great alternative to black. Right there. Just a beautiful deep green eyeliner. As I said, I don't have a mascara to show you. Nothing really noteworthy. Before we move on to the big category of eyeshadow, I want to do lips really fast. Lip liner. Bought a few lip liners this year. Went a little crazy in the lip area. My favorite of the year though is the Sicily Fido Livres Perfect in Nude. It comes with a brush on one side that's actually helpful, and then the regular pencil on the other. The texture of this is not too waxy. It's so soft, it's so smooth, it's so comfortable to apply. My favorite of the year for sure. For liquid lipstick, I don't really like liquid lipstick, but I heard this Chanel one is so good that I had to try it. This is the La Rouge Duo Ultra Tenue Gloss Duo thing. This is Soft Rose. This is the liquid lipstick, and this is the gloss. If it didn't have the gloss, I wouldn't like this, but because this is, you know, it's a liquid lipstick, it's drying by nature, but with the gloss, it's perfect. And the gloss lasts a long time, surprisingly. Like, it's almost the best gloss I've ever used. It's like magic. And this color is just really easy to wear. I'm a huge fan. If it wasn't so expensive, I would buy more. My favorite lipsticks of the year. So both of these brands are new to me this year. I have one from Sicily and one from Lisa Eldridge. And the one from Sicily, I mean, first of all, look at this packaging. Like, so good. But the color and the texture, this is Rose Portofino, this is Lipfido Rouge. This is kind of a unique, cool toned rose, and it does have a lot of brown in it, and it's just a really sophisticated, wonderful shade, super smooth to apply, wonderful creamy texture, so good. And I got a few lipsticks from Lisa Eldridge, but my favorite of the bunch is Velvet Beauty, which really surprised me because I thought it was going to be super pink, but it's a perfect pink. It's like a perfect nude for me. Love this color. Love this formula. It's just so soft and wonderful. And that's it for lips for me. Before we get into eyeshadow, that's gonna be my last category. I want to get into some tools real quick. The first tool is really a palette. It's a glass palette from Scott Barnes, and I use this all the time for foundations, mixing products into foundations, mixing foundations. It's super handy to have a palette like this that's glass versus plastic because it's not going to scratch. It's easy. You can clean it easier. It's sturdy. It's heavy. And I've had plastic palettes and they have tons of scratches and you can't really ever get them clean. So I love the glass palette, and it's small, perfect size. Brushes and sponges. I've been religiously using the Real Technique sponge to apply my foundation and concealer. I have a mini one too. I like both sizes. I use this for under my eyes and little tiny areas, but these are really good and not as expensive as a beauty blender. For makeup brushes, I have a few from Ruffer and Sonia G that are new to me this year. I have the Face Pro, which is perfect for blending in powders. I have the Ruffer 25, which is a new giant powder brush. That is just super soft and smooth. I have the Inoshige Pro from Sonia G, which I like to use for contouring and bronzer. It's kind of a pointy powder brush, really soft. And then to buff out like contour and sculpting powders, I like the Sonia G Sculpt one. It's like a giant fan, perfect for chiseling things out. And then my two favorite eye brushes are actually really similarly shaped, but it's different sizes. This is the Ruffer number 3, perfect for the under eye, and Ruffer number 23, perfect for the inner corner and underneath the eye as well. That's it from my favorite tools this year. Let's finally get into eyeshadow. So a few categories this year. I brought a ton of eyeshadow like many of you did as well. Let's start with the smaller sizes, quads, duos, things like that. So my favorite sort of neutral duo is the Chantecaille Le Chrome Luxe Eye Duo in Tibet. These aren't normally shades I would go for, but this is like a perfect smoky taupe, wonderfully beautiful eye. These colors look boring, but because they have the chrome tones, they make it a lot more exciting and fun. Just really good pair. Super easy, 2 eyeshadows and you're done. For my small colorful eyeshadow quad, whatever you want to call it, I'll just say this is like my favorite quad of the year. This is the Dior 5 color couture eyeshadow palette in Rouge Trafalgar 879. This is the red one. The red one really surprised me. I really like these shades. I think they go really well with each other. This is a really smooth formula. I've had this, I had like the basic nude one of these but way back in the day, and it wasn't that good. These are way better. I'm sure you guys have heard. Check out the red one. The red is not that scary. It's definitely rusty red. It's wearable. I did my holiday red look with this shadow. I enjoy this palette a lot. Basic neutral palette. I'm going with the Wayne Goss Imperial Topaz Luxury Eye Palette. I didn't want to get this, but I did, and I'm glad I did because it's got a lot of wearable warm tones, different textures, and the pans are big, and I think you'll find a lot of uses for this. A lot of people are liking the newer blue cool tone gray one. I just don't know how often I use cool tone shadows in the gray family. I mean, I think the looks people are creating are beautiful. It's just blue is not really my thing to buy a palette with that big of pans in those colors. I think that's pretty though. I just prefer this color story a lot more. So I'm gonna go with specialty single eyeshadows that you can put as a group. I know that doesn't make sense, but I bought a whole bunch of pressed Multichrome Shadows from Chaos Makeup, and they are all wonderful. This is basically the entire range of their pressed Multichromes. I have all the colors, and they are stunning. This formula is stunning. If you haven't tried Chaos, check them out. Check out my video on them. There's a couple caveats you need to know about the brand, but the formula is great. So easy to apply. So pigmented, a lot of jewel tones, right? But I love these. These are your fun. This is your fun party picks for the year. Before I get into my bigger palettes, I want to show you my favorite singles. I know, I'm like really expansive on the eyeshadow. So my favorite single in the powder category, like on its own, in its own packaging, is the Chantecaille Crane eyeshadow, and this is the Luminescent Eye Shade formula. It's got a lot of sparkle in there, and the shade is very smoky. I think a lot of Chantecaille's eyeshadows look very safe to me, but this is like a sexy shade. And it's got some black behind it. So I think it's a really nice party shade as well. Love this shade. Go into liquid eyeshadow. This is the Natasha Denona Liquid Chromium. This is like a fun shade, a lot of dimension. And what I like about this shade, it's probably the most wearable. It's kind of like this kind of pinky brown color in normal lighting, but it shifts to a wonderful green in bronze. I really like the shift of infra nude. And then single cream eyeshadow. This is probably one of my favorite finds of the year, like surprise find and recommendation from a YouTuber. This is the Eyes to Memorize cream eyeshadow from Charlotte Tilbury in Oyster Pearl. Perfect one and done shadow, and just a really interesting tone. Like, I could use this over and over and over again. Just a wonderful shade. Alright, onto our bigger palette. So my favorite bigger palette of the year is the Pat McGrath Mothership 8 Divine Rose 2. And this is in the special like chrome pink packaging. This is the funner of the two, Divine Rose. And I like this more than the first one that came out because to me it's a lot more pat. And the shifty multi-chrome shade is so wonderful. I love the variety of tones in here. It's just, I like the colors. I mean, I bought a lot of Motherships this year. I have almost her whole collection of Motherships all in 1 year. But this is like my favorite of all the purchases because it's like the most unique. I know you guys are probably over the Divine Rose thing. She's like overkilling it, but I like this palette. If you haven't picked it up yet, there's been some sales. Try it out. I think you'll like it if you like colors. I mean, a lot of gorgeous, gorgeous tones in here. And I don't want to end the video without mentioning Sydney Grace. They have some wonderful palettes out. I don't have some of the larger palettes, but I have a lot of the singles. And this is all Sydney Grace singles right here. There's a couple new shades this year that I just want to quickly point out. And what I'm wearing on my eyelid is Go For It from Sydney Grace, and that is this shade right here. It is like a pinky, neutral, sparkle shade. It is just really pretty. They've got a lot of wonderful mattes. Troops is a good one. The Ballet. Paris. Golden Rose. They just have tons of mattes. This isn't even all the ones that I own from Sydney Grace. They're reasonably priced and great quality. I think you're really going to enjoy them. Tons of shades to choose from. If you're looking for one in particular, the website, you might have to just type in the name to find them. Sometimes that's the easiest rather than like searching through pages of single eyeshadows. But really great company, and if you're looking for the single eyeshadow route, start with Sydney Grace. Alright guys, those are my top makeup picks. I could have Honestly, I bought a lot of makeup this year since starting my channel, and I could have picked a lot of things, I could have added a lot of things, but I think I wanted to keep my list narrow enough, palatable enough. I tried a lot of brands, I took a lot of deep dives into some brands, and I had a lot of fun this year. So let me know if you think my picks are off, or if I'm missing some of your favorites that are your top 20 this year. Please comment below. Click like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Bye guys.